Wednesdays and Thursdays there. Then I was doing like some parties at the fucking Death House with my homie Shaw, and then in between there and like Augustet, and then playing the Mook Life parties. Yeah, I was just like DJing a lot. I'm like looking back, I was just like DJing this whole time, like 2000. This is 2013 now. May like DJing at Death House on Cachette,
Yeah, I wonder if you ever
Underworld.
like. I wonder if it just like happened that like I ran into you back then and like no idea.
Maybe it's possible.
I wore a suit.
Blue Dog, I was doing some random shows at, and then yeah, then I went to Toronto and did the North by Northeast, which is like
Okay,
the Canadian version of South by Southwest. We had
that's
a showcase. We were supposed to like do one. It was like either with Smith and Wesson or Joey Badass, and this one Joey Badass was like first like coming up, but Maps was like, "Yo, I want to do it with Smith and Wesson because they like." He's like, I grew up listening to that. He's like, I don't really like give a fuck about Joey Badass. He's like, in hindsight, he's like, that was a bad mistake because Joey Badass was
dude. Like,
would have been the the one because that
like
show we went to it after and it was so lit. It was like Liz Frasco, Raz Fresco was there, and like a bunch of like industry people from like Canada and the States were like there at that show. No one was at the fucking Smith and Wesson show. It was just like,
yo, that's a big lesson. Like that's a knowledge nugget if we ever heard a knowledge nugget.
yeah,
Focus on the young. The old is the old. And I know that's like sounds harsh. Like sure, there's the vanity side of saying you outperform a Smith and Wesson and whatnot. But the reality is like when you said Joy, I'm like that's like when pro era was coming through and like about to dominate like fucking music for about 5 or 6 years. Like when Joy Badass dropped his album in 2017, he was like on top of the world type thing. And so it's like that's a huge lesson. Really, really cool. Are you still looking at your flyers?
yeah, yeah. Because then I reached out to this girl Mayday, DJ Mayday, and she had a night at Salon Officiel, and it was this little bar on Roy. And then Saturdays they'd have these like super lit fucking parties, and they were called Please Me Saturdays. And I reached out to her because like some of my homies Tron from like Mook Life were like DJing at those parties, and I'm just like, yo, I want to rock with that. So I like reached out to her and I was just like, yo, can I play? And she was like, oh my god, I'm so glad that you reached out to me. Da, da, da. So I became like a regular on those. I was like in the rotation of DJs um, for her night there because she would have like a Saturday, and like that was like a super like because she got paid $300 every Saturday. So she could either take that $300 and just DJ the whole night from like 10 to 3, or like DJ with some other DJ and split it 150 with them for the whole night. So sometimes she would just do it the whole night, and other nights she would get me or Redhead or Nikki Raisins or fucking Tron and split it like 150. So that was like an easy like, and you just go, you play like for like 45 minutes, and then or she would start off the night, and then you get there at like 11 or 11:30, 12 when people started to pack in, and then you play, and then the people are just starting to get loose, and then they're getting drunk, and then you can start playing whatever the fuck you want, and then after you just go like back and forth and like DJ. Like that was super fun. Like those are some really like fun nights, just like playing. Like first you have to play some crowd pleaser at first, and then when everyone's drunk you just like kind of play not whatever you want, but you can get a bit more like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play this like deep cut from like a fucking like early like 3-6, and everyone's just so like fucked up, they're just like they don't care, and they're just like vibing with it or whatever.
Big DJ tips from Vincent Pryce. All right, so you do this for a while. What happens with the Mook life? It ends at some point.
That's 2013, and then 2012, like 2003.
Now we're going back.
Yeah, well, 2013, and then my mom passed away, and that was kind of like that was a weird time for me because I was like partying a lot, and my mom just died. So I was just like, I don't want to feel sad, so I'm just gonna like continue partying. So I just kind of just like I didn't really process the whole grief of that till like years
Right.
later type of thing because I was just like I don't want to feel sad about this, so I'm just gonna like fucking plowing right through. Now, obviously, like I was sad, like I was cried about it, but I didn't like really process the whole like gravity or grief of it till like years later.
Right. I mean that's serious, stills. Um, rest in peace to your mom and but
Thank you.
like, so you partied on through that, and then are you still
Well,
DJing during
yeah,
that
there's like
period?
yeah, I'm DJing. There was like Matt like Mook Life parties. I'm DJing. Then I did another um I did another art beat thing with Dapi. He's like I don't know if you know who he is, but he was a pretty big producer. There's A Just and like from and Rough Sound. They're like Loud and Larry.
Not really, no.
Yes,
That's why I'm trying to. That's why I
that's like a
started to
big.
introduce.
They're like huge on the Loud and Larry. From they're like huge on the Quebec. I see like Loud like sold out. I don't know if he sold out, but he opened at the Bell Center. He like had a show at the Bell Center, and um, AJS Rough Sound was like they were like the producer aspect of that. Um, Young Guyans, she's a DJ producer, uh, very talented female voice in the city. Grand Buddha, they're all like we just played a bunch of beats at what's it called? Is that Belmont? And that was like a fucking crazy lit night. Like we had as much people as like a very well known like American artist could like pack in, and it was just like us beatmakers like playing beats all night. Like no rappers, nothing. It was just like us playing beats on stage and like keeping the crowd fucking lit.
Mm, that sounds fucking fresh though. Yo, people need to do more things like this still. I mean, I don't even know if this was all happening pre-COVID because I wasn't paying attention to any of that shit because I was lost in my like rapper world. But
That was like October 2013.